We start with Nancy talking at a high school career fair. Chief McGinnis asks her to take the patrolman's exam when she's old enough, but Nancy is old enough. You must be 17 and a half to take a patrolman's exam. Chief McGinnis must have this confused with the fact that you must be 21 to become a police officer. Doesn't he know the difference between an officer and a patrolman? Now I'm wondering how he became chief of police in the first place.
Argo Funk Book Review, Argo Funk Book Review.
One of the high school students is Cindy Larson. She likes Nancy Drew so much she has a scrapbook dedicated to Nancy, which covers the last few years of Nancy's life. This is creepy. Nancy tries to explain that not all of her cases are safe and easy, but Cindy is determined to believe Nancy is a goddess of mystery. The third person at the career fair is Tom Hayward, head of Hayward Security. One of his warehouses is robbed. The crooks got past the coated doors, tied up a security guard named Adam Reeves, and took 200 boxes of junky CDs. Brenda Carlton interrupts. I noticed she wasn't invited to career day. And Nancy finds someone sneaking in the warehouse. It's Cindy! She followed Nancy here because she wants to help with a case. She is definitely a stalker. Stanley Loomis, who runs the other security business in town, hacks the warehouse's PA system to say nasty things about Hayward for a few minutes. Loomis, the chief of police is right here listening to you. Don't be an idiot. At home, Carson makes some dad jokes and warns Nancy to be careful. She patrols the warehouse district that night. The culprits push some boxes on top of her, and they rob another warehouse. Again, they only take a small amount of junky things, instead of stealing valuable merchandise. It's like the robbers aren't doing this for the money. Adam Reeves is the only guard who's worked at both warehouses, and his resume has a 6-month gap. Nancy meets Neil Masterson, the business's VP. Masterson explains the security system works on randomly generated access codes, which change weekly. The codes are memorized, then instantly destroyed, so it's basically impossible to break the security system without inside help. Brenda writes some nasty articles about the break-ins, and the company's stock starts to plummet. Nancy's dad explains how the stock market works here. I feel like that's something they should have taught her in high school. In any case, Carson assures Nancy it makes perfect sense for a company to lose 3/4 of its value at the exact same time it has lost no clients or money. That's how stock markets work. Nancy patrols at night again, and the culprit attacks her with a bomb. The paint is blown off of her car. Dad is not happy, and he orders her off the case. Nancy explains why this case is so important to her. It's because of the career fair. She's seriously thinking about becoming a career detective now, and she wants to know if she can do it. This is book 52 of the series, Nancy. You don't have to be a super sleuth to know you can solve mysteries at this point. Nancy interviews Loomis, who clumsily tries to hide the fact that Hayward offered to buy his business. A car follows Nancy as she leaves. Nancy prepares for a dangerous car chase, but nope, it's just Brenda Carlton. She's bad at everything, including driving. Brenda falls into a pit of mud. She brags her great investigation skills, aka her father, revealed that Masterson is in desperate need of money to pay for his child's surgery. When Nancy questions Masterson about it, he acts incredibly guilty. Nancy makes Cindy research all the suspects. It turns out Loomis and Adam both went to jail, albeit in different decades. Cindy steals Masterson's mail. It's illegal to open someone else's mail, but Nancy has a workaround. She drops some liquid on it. The envelope turns see-through for a minute, then it turns back to normal, with no indication that it was ever touched. What? What is this magical envelope reading solution that Nancy is using? Since when can she read through any envelope ever? Why hasn't she used this before? Continuity! Well, the magical solution reveals that Masterson is moonlighting for Loomis in exchange for money for his child's operation. Nancy regularly patrols the warehouse area. She's fooled by a decoy and is pushed off a building. The final time, Cindy interrupts, and as a result, the two girls are locked in a building. The culprits open a gas line, and our heroes build a staircase out of boxes to reach the window. Cindy decides detective work is too dangerous for her at this point, and she stops obsessing over Nancy. Dad explains how the stock market works again. See, when you lose money on the stock market, it's not actually losing money, it's called a paper loss. I'm sure that's a great comfort to Hayward, who is no longer a millionaire. It's just a paper loss. Nancy realizes this is an on purpose paper loss. Hayward drove down his company's stock so he could buy shares on the cheap. Hayward knew Brenda is a trashy reporter, so he called in anonymous tips to her to ensure the stock would crash. He plans to miraculously solve the robberies and recover the stolen goods, thereby driving the stock price back up and making himself a huge profit. Nancy confronts Hayward, who plays it smart and cool. Just like book one, Brenda barges in like an idiot, and Hayward takes her as his hostage. He drives away, but Nancy gives chase. She smashes her car into his, forcing him off the side of the road. This distracts him long enough for the police to catch up. I'm not sure why the police let Nancy take over their car chase, to be honest. The end. Post-book follow-up. At the end of the book are two one-page teasers for the River Heights spin-off series, along with a 12-page sample of book 9. I figured the sample would be chapter number 1 of the book, but no, it is scenes from chapters 1, 2, 5, 7, and the pointless scene where they make it seem like Nancy Drew will be in the book. She's not. But hey, now we know why they put that scene in the book. It was a fake out for the previews in Nancy Drew files 52 through 54. I'm honestly surprised they didn't use one of the River Heights characters as Nancy's high school sidekick for this book. I'd rather see her team up with Nikki Masters than Cindy Larson, although it was cute for Nancy to have a fangirl in this book. The culprit's plan in this book was well thought out, as was what happened to the two non-culprits. Sadly, the investigation is not as good. It's 5 chapters of Nancy patrolling the warehouses at night, only to run into jump scares. 5 times is too many, especially since the third one, as Nancy falls for a decoy, the least frightening of those cliffhangers. I liked how Carson and Hannah were worked into the story. Nancy wondering if she could become a career detective was interesting and surprisingly emotional. Sadly, there was no follow-up to it. I want to know about Nancy's career plans. Is she going to college or starting the detective biz full-time? Overall, it's a good book. The writing has quality, the author makes good use of regular characters, and the confrontation scenes were particularly nice. I think it would have been improved if, say, 2 of the jump scares were removed, but still a great entry in the series. I give Nancy Drew Files number 52, Danger for Hire, a 9 out of 10.